Hey guys, my name is Scoby and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to set up and install Flycast on your computer. This is a Sega Dreamcast emulator that lets you play Dreamcast games on your PC. Let's jump right into this. So the first thing you need to do is come to this link. Links is always in the description down below, and this is going to be for the Flycast GitHub. Once we're here, we're going to be looking for the releases option here on the right side. We're going to be clicking this. We're then going to be downloading the latest release, which is version 2.6 at the time of recording. Simply come here. We're going to be looking for the Flycast-Win64. Simply left click this and that will download. Now while we have our web browser open, we're also going to be coming to this link to download 7-zip if you don't already have it. Come here, click the download button here and let 7-zip download. I have all the files we will need in this folder, but you'll just need access to your downloads that you got from before. First thing we're going to be doing is installing 7-zip. We're going to be double clicking this exe file, clicking yes on the Windows pop-up, select an install location. I'm just going to be leaving it on my C drive. Click install, click close, and then 7-zip is installed. We're then going to be installing Flycast. It does come in a zip file, so we're first going to have to extract it. Again, right click, show more options, 7-zip, extract here. We're then going to have our Flycast.exe application. We're going to double click this exe file, and our Flycast is going to open right away. From this point, we're going to be coming to settings on the top right. And the first thing we're going to be doing is coming to the video tab here, and we're going to be selecting a couple things. The first thing we can set up is the graphics API. Here, if you have a dedicated graphics card in your computer, I would recommend setting it to Vulkan. It might need to refresh the application in this case, but Vulkan can give better performance. If you are noticing some issues, going back to OpenGL can also be an option. And you have DirectX 9 and 11 here as backup as well. We then have the option to set up the rendering resolution. By default, it will be the native of the Dreamcast. And here, depending on your hardware, you can set this a bit higher, a bit lower. I am going to be scaling it all the way up to 4x, but here you can experiment based on the game and based on the performance that you're getting. Scrolling down here a bit, you can enable widescreen if you want. I'm going to be leaving my games in the default aspect ratio, but if you do set your games in widescreen, you might get some stretched content. However, it will take up the full screen, so you can choose what you prefer there. You can also set up frame skipping if you want. By default, it is disabled. I'm just going to be setting it to normal and leaving it like that. Under the advanced tabs, there's a couple more things you can take a look at. If you are using an AMD or Intel GPU, enabling native depth interpolation can help with some issues. You can see here the tooltip, so it's something I'd recommend doing if you have an AMD or Intel GPU. I'm currently using an AMD GPU, so I'm going to be leaving this enabled. Here I'd recommend turning up the antiscopic filtering. I'm going to be setting it up to 16x, but again, if you are having performance issues, this is something you can turn down. And then finally, texture filtering. Here you can set it up to force nearest or force linear. This can make your games look a bit smoother and in some cases a bit better, but can also make some graphical issues, and force linear can also give some performance issues. So here you can experiment a bit to see what works best for you. And then finally, you can enable the FPS counter here as well if you want. We're then going to be scrolling back up to the audio section. Here you can enable some digital sound processing. This again can cause a performance hit, but I'd recommend it if you have a stronger system. Underneath general, one of the main things you need to take a look at is the cable option right here. VGA is what I'd recommend for any modern display. It allows us to use 480p instead of 480i that we get from RGB and TV composite. So VGA is a good option to set here. Scrolling down a bit further here, we have the box art list and the fetch box art option. It will automatically grab the box art for games that you have. Finally, here at the bottom, we have some custom path options. And here we have the option to set up a BIOS folder if you want to set up an additional BIOS. Technically, there is a BIOS file already built into Flycast, which has quite good compatibility. So in most cases, you will not need external BIOS files. However, it is possible that you will need BIOS files for certain games, or in some games they can give better compatibility. You have your VMU folders and a couple of other folders that you might want to check out, but I won't be deep diving into any of these in today's video. And then finally, once you have all this done, we're ready to talk about controllers. And here, if we come to the controls tab under physical devices, we will see all of the connected devices on our computer. So I have my keyboard, my mouse, and my Xbox One controller. This emulator does support quite a few controllers out of the box. For today's video, I'm going to be setting up an Xbox One controller, but it is also possible to use a keyboard and mouse following the same method I'm going to be showing you. Behind the settings of the Xbox One controller, we can set up the rumble, the dead zone, and the saturation. These I'd recommend leaving all by default unless you want to edit the dead zone, but these should work fine. Next to each of the input devices you can map it to a specific port. And then you can select what type of controller should be for that port down here at the bottom, so you can set up exactly how you want. Once you have the device you want to use selected, we can come to the map button right here, and here we can go through and map each one of the buttons. Now thankfully, as mentioned with the Xbox One controller, it's already mapped by default, but if you would like to go through and set up your own mapping, you can simply come here, select the button you want to do, which is the up button for example, click map, press the button on your controller or your keyboard, and go through and map all of your buttons. At the bottom of our mapping here, we can see the emulator options, and here we can map a couple of emulator specific things. If you want to set up the on-screen menu, you can set it to a specific button. By default on the Xbox controller, it will be select button or the back button. You can map up a button to exit your game, fast forward, load or save a state, bypass emulated keyboard, and even save a screenshot. So here you can set these to map however you want. We will also of course be needing game files, and here I have a couple of game files, and I will be mentioning up front I will not be showing you in today's video where to download games. You will need to source your own games or make dumps or backups of your existing games. However, if you do download your games, they will most likely come compressed in a .rar or a .7zip file, and that's where we're going to be using 7zip to extract these games out. We're going to be selecting any game you want to extract. You'll notice it's extracted if it's .7z or has this little zip icon in Windows. We're going to right click, show more options, 7zip, extract here. It's then going to extract my game, and here your games can come in a couple of formats. They can come in a .cdi file like I have here, a .iso file, or they can come in a mixture of .bin and .q files. So depending on the game format you have, we will be able to play them all in Flycast, and we'll be looking at this a bit later. Now the first thing I'm going to be doing is adding a game folder and just testing to make sure our games are up and running. So what we're going to be doing is clicking add game folder, and then you need to locate wherever your games are. So here I'd recommend locating to the folder that all your games are containing. If you select a single game folder, it'll only use one. However, if you select the parent folder, it'll be able to select multiple games. And here I can see both of my games are available right away. Now in the meantime, any games that you have in your game folder will show up here and will automatically get cover art. You just need to wait a couple of seconds while it downloads in the background. I'm going to be loading up Sega Rally, setting my emulator in full screen, and now they're going to be set up. Now to get to a true full screen, to hide your Windows bar and the top panel, we can click Alt and Enter on our keyboard, which will open up the true full screen mode. And now our game is going to be setting up in full screen. As mentioned during the hotkeys earlier, if we click the select button on our controller, we can see that the on-screen menu here shows up on the top left. It is a little bit small, but it does work here regardless. We have access to cheats, the settings again, save state, closing the game or ejecting the disk, and you can go through and set everything as you want. I'm going to be going back to resume, and now my game is set up and ready to play exactly how I set it up. Anyway guys, it's as easy as that to set up and play Sega Dreamcast games on your PC. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, check out the other videos on the channel. Until next time guys, as always, keep it saucy, peace.